Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back. My name is Keiyona Myles, and today we are going to be talking about a topic that is countercultural in today's society, but it is what God intended. We are going to be talking about celibacy, which is abstaining from sex and any form of sex until marriage. Okay. So specifically, we'll explore why practicing celibacy is emphasized in the Bible and how to remain sexually pure, especially during occasions like Valentine's Day. Okay, Valentine's Day is coming, so this is an important topic to discuss before that day so that you can stay ready. Okay, so to begin, let's understand the biblical perspective on celibacy. The Bible teaches that celibacy is a valuable and honorable lifestyle choice, okay? In 1 Corinthians 7, verse 7 through 8, the Apostle Paul encourages celibacy, stating that it allows individuals to devote themselves wholly to serving God without distractions of marital responsibilities, okay? And Ephesians 5:3, it urges believers to avoid even a hint of sexual immorality, okay? The Bible emphasizes that sexual intimacy is designed for the sacred covenant of marriage, okay? Staying pure involves abstaining from marital sex and maintaining a mindset focused on the principles of love, respect, and self-discipline, okay? Self-control. Okay, so I just want to read 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 15 through 20, because it is the entire foundation of this video, okay? So it reads, "Do you not know that your bodies are members of Christ himself? Shall I then take the members of Christ and unite them with a prostitute? Never. Do you not know that he who unites himself with a prostitute is one with her in body? For it is said, the two will become one flesh. But whoever is united with the Lord is one with him in spirit. Flee from sexual immorality. All other sins a person commits are outside of the body, but whoever sins sexually sins against their own body. Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies." Yes, that again is 1 Corinthians 6, verses 15 through 20. That is what we are talking about. It is a sin. And this video is not to condemn anybody who may be engaging in sexual encounters, anybody that's not a virgin. We're talking about our new walk with Christ, renewing our mind, body, soul, and spirit, and just walking with Christ. So if you have been living a certain lifestyle in the past, this is your chance to start over, to start fresh, to be born again, okay? That's what this video is about. So first, I wanted to start by getting into a few myths, some myths about celibacy and sex in general, because we know in today's society, it's so much going on, because it's like when you look at the majority, everybody is having sex. Everybody's out having what they call fun. There's no consequences. They don't see it as a sin. It's just like, this is what people do, but nobody's holding each other accountable because everybody's doing it. So you're almost shunned upon if you're not having sex. People think something is wrong with you if you're not engaging in sex. That's how society is set up now. And it's even to the point where if you're not having sex, your girlfriends may be trying to hook you up like, girl, we need to get you laid. We need to find somebody for you. That's how society has been behaving. But we know, as followers in Christ, Christians who are walking with God, we need to renew our mind, our body, our souls, our relationships we need to start again. Throw out our old way of thinking, our old way of behaving. That's what walking with Christ is. That's what it is, okay? So one of the common myths that people always say is sex is a basic human need, like especially for men. They need sex. They need that release. Like they gotta have it. We just gotta have that release. And it's wrong for us to try to hold that back because that's not natural. It's not natural for men to not just get that release. And that is a big lie. Okay. Let's discuss needs versus desires. Sex is a desire. It is not a need. You don't need sex. You want sex. You desire sex. Sex feels good. It's pleasurable. It's something you want. But if you don't have it, you're not gonna die. Hence, you don't need it. Okay? If you think you need sex, you'll become dependent on it and you cannot function without it. I'm sure drug addicts think they need drugs. They need drugs to function because now they're addicted to this substance, but they don't need it. What's the difference between you and them? You're dependent on something that does not serve you or God. It doesn't serve you or God, right? So it only provides that temporary pleasure in the moment. It's like a relief from the issues that you don't want to address. So you use sex to mask whatever else is going on. You mask whatever is going on. So you're kind of using sex as a coping mechanism. Okay. It's something as a pleasurable release, but that's not always healthy. That's not the healthy way to deal with your problems and issues. We just give ourselves a little bit of pleasure. Again, going back to the drug addict, they're just relieving themselves of that stress by taking that hit or doing whatever they're doing. But again, it's not benefiting them in any way. It's not serving them and it's not serving God. So at that point, it's like, what's the point? It's a temporary moment of pleasure. That's all it is. But remember, we are talking about celibacy, which is denying yourself that pleasure. And sex is just one of them. It's so many other things that on your walk with Christ, you have to deny the flesh of these pleasures, of these worldly, sinly pleasures, right? That's of the world. Okay, so people also say, well, I'm not addicted to sex. I can just do it in moderation. I can do a little bit here and a little bit there. I just do it when I feel like it, but sex don't control me. I'm not out here having sex with anybody. I just have sex with one person at a time and sex don't control me, but I like the way it feels. So I'm going to keep doing it. And it's like, you can do that if you want to, but remember this. If it's not helping you, it's hurting you. That's it. If it's not helping you, it's hurting you. Nothing is neutral. There is nothing in our lives that is neutral. It's going either one way or another. It's going up or down. It's going up or down on the balance beam. Nothing is neutral that we do in our lives that just has no effect on us. That's not even realistic, okay? If it's not helping you, then it is hurting you. That's just your way of opting out of the accountability and making the decision to intentionally fight your flesh and deny yourself. Listen, whoever you give your body to will also have your mind and your spirit. Hence, soul ties. That's how soul ties are created. So you simply give your body to Christ by not giving it to man. Your body is a temple, and when you eliminate sex, it closes the door to all demonic infiltration. Okay? When you leave that door wide open, you are inviting Satan and all his representatives in to do what they will with it. Okay? So you're closing that door to all demonic infiltration. Okay? It's just like you done gave your body to Devontae, and now he's taking up too much mental real estate. When he's not calling you, he's not texting you, he's not checking on you. Now your spirit is irritated, you're frustrated, you're lashing out on people. You are not acting like yourself, and it's because he got a hold on you through that doorway of sex. Okay, and we want to eliminate all of that. So I want to move into talking about some of the benefits of celibacy, okay, directly. Now, there are so many benefits to being celibate. It's not easy, though. I want you to know it's not easy, but it is worth it. Everybody's journey is going to be different. So just a little bit of background about me is that I was married and I was with the same person for over 10 years, sexually with the same person for 10 years. We got divorced and I have been celibate now for 2 years since. 1.5 of those years with no masturbation. Okay, that's another thing that we'll have to discuss in another video. But being sexually pure really means no sexual, nothing sexual at all in any form. So masturbation is one of those things that gotta go for you to have true sexual purity, right? So it's been 2 years on my celibacy journey, right? Now, but then again, who is counting? Who is counting? Okay, you have to get in the right frame of mind. You have to get into the mindset of however long it takes until you get married. It's not a thing about 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. Somebody might not get married for 8 years, for 15 years. You never know. So it's however long it takes. At some point, you got to stop counting the time, because the time doesn't even matter at this point, right? So it's like, it's not a punishment that you're waiting for it to end. It's a privilege that you're already walking in. But be mindful again that everybody's journey is different. I made that decision to be celibate for several different reasons, especially from me coming from a 10-year relationship and leaving a marriage. I couldn't even imagine having sex with somebody else. Like, I couldn't even imagine it. When I said I do, when I got married, I thought that was forever, right? I thought that was forever. So leaving that, I'm like, I'm supposed to have sex with somebody else. Like, I can't even think about it. It's kind of weird to me to even think about it. So that was the first thing. And then again, it's like, initially after I left my marriage, I would engage in watching porn and engaging in masturbation and things like that. That's what kind of held me in the beginning, because I couldn't think about having sex with another man. And I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking about personal development and getting myself together and just like healing from a divorce. That is a whole healing process in itself, right? So I wasn't even thinking about sex. It was far from my mind. But when I did have those thoughts, I would coddle it with the masturbation and watching a little bit of porn, right? But after I realized that was also, both of them is a form of sexual immorality, I had to cut them out. I cut them out, right? So, but anyway, my journey is a little bit different as well, because I left a long-term relationship, a marriage, and also I was not dating at all in those 2 years. I wasn't dating anyone at all. So when you're not dating anyone, it's less temptation. It's not to say that I couldn't go find anyone, because it's kind of easy for people to find sex nowadays. Like, it's very easy. It doesn't mean that people weren't interested in me or trying to talk to me, but at this time I wasn't exchanging phone numbers. Like, nobody had my number, nobody was calling me, nobody was entertaining me. I wasn't entertaining anybody else. Like, it was dead. So that made the journey a little bit easier as well, right? So now, honestly, I would say I don't even have the urge. It's like after a long period of no sex, the urge kind of disappears a little bit. Like, for me, I'm speaking for me specifically. Like, I don't even really get horny at all anymore. I may have a thought about sex here and there, but then I'll just throw it out like, oh, nope, that's it. And then it's gone. But as far as getting a little tingly feeling and like, I don't have that. I don't have that issue. I don't have that urge. And I'm not watching sexually enticing movies and things like that either. So I'm not listening to all the music that's talking about sex. Like, I'm not listening to that stuff. I'm listening to gospel songs. So all of these little things will make the journey easier. But again, I'm just talking about my journey. I even started to think like, dang, my desire is gone. Will it ever even come back? Like, when it is time for me to date and get married again, like, will my urge come back? Because right now I don't have it. And then I had to realize, no, that's the devil, because our bodies are literally made for this. Like, it's gonna come back. All you gotta do is just touch and it'll come back. It's kind of like a woman creating breast milk, right? Your body's gonna your breast is gonna fill with milk when it's needed. So I know I won't have that problem in the future. You know what I'm saying? But that's just how you start to think and try to trick your mind like, oh, well, if I stop having sex and I don't have the urge, then I'm gonna have a problem later in life. Like, no, Satan, that's a tactic of Satan trying to get you back into the old world of doing what you've been doing. And no, we're not falling for that. Okay? We're not falling for that. Okay? So sometimes you just really need a season of isolation, because that's what that was for me, a season of isolation. Not texting nobody, not calling nobody, not going on dates. You may need that season of isolation so that you can focus on yourself, so that you can build your strength through Christ. Okay, so here are some of the benefits of celibacy, again, just to name a few. So let's say discernment. Your judgment isn't clouded or compromised by emotions and good feels. Okay, you're going to have increased energy and productivity. Like, your mind is going to be clear. You're going to be able to think better about your decision making, your actions. Everything is going to seem a little bit clearer. You're going to find purpose and alignment in everything that you do. You're going to become better at setting boundaries and having the right people around you, right? And in the right places. You're going to have greater self-value and self-worth, which is going to build your confidence. It's going to be no more people pleasing. You're not going to be fighting for relationships that you had no business even getting into in the first place. Okay. You get to know and understand and love yourself. Okay. You're going to have more discipline. Once you build more discipline, it will spill over into other areas of your life. Discipline is always a good thing. Once you're good at not having sex, you know, like, if I could go without this, the one thing that I truly, really, really love to do, then I know I can go without this other stuff. I know I could deny myself of food. I know I can do whatever else that I need to do because I have been successful at this big thing. Also, it helps you to slow down and take your time with things. It allows you to wait on God's perfect timing, right? So you are less likely to give into temptation by pleasures of the flesh. You are also able to build a stronger relationship with God. You are able to develop a conviction and accountability for your actions and the things that you do. You are able to increase empathy for others because you now can see things very clearly. And you can empathize with those people. You can see things through their lens, all right? You also get to experience what true freedom feels like, okay? What true freedom feels like. And those are just a few of the benefits of being celibate, right? So I wanted to give y'all some tips on how to stay sexually pure, right? So as Valentine's Day approaches, individuals that are practicing celibacy may face unique challenges. So the holiday is often associated with romantic love and expressions of affection. However, it is very crucial to remember that celibacy is a personal choice, and it is aligned specifically with your faith our faith, which is in Jesus Christ, okay, don't get caught up in the moment. Do not get caught up in the moment. Get caught up in the movement of Christ, okay? Fall in love with the Lord, not in lust with the devil, okay? So the first tip is to always stay on guard. Always stay on guard. Don't think that it can't happen to you. Do not think that you are exempt from this. No matter how spiritual you are, no matter how much you read the scripture, how much you pray about staying pure, temptation affects everyone, okay? And not taking appropriate precautions while dating will leave you wide open to vulnerability. Okay, you may have to take it back old school and even wear the ugly panties, if you will. Number 2, date with purpose and alignment. Dating is an avenue toward marriage. Be purposeful with individuals that you choose to date. Only date people that you can see a future with. From the first discussion, the first encounter, you can have some type of indication whether you can see this person in your future enough to even get to know, right? Maintain the mindset that you will only date potential mates. Enjoying friendships with the opposite gender in group settings is a great way to really get to know people. You don't have to date people to get to know people. It could just be sociable events when you get to know somebody, just by talking to them. It's not a date. It's just a discussion, right? The next one, set firm boundaries. Set clear boundaries with your partner or potential romantic interest to avoid compromising situations. Communicate your desires that you want to be celibate and state your reasons for why you chose to be celibate. Talk about it and agree on it in advance. Agree on it in advance so that everybody's on the same page. Also, you want to agree on the appropriate levels of affection. Physical contact is a powerful thing. Physical contact is very, very powerful. So you want to agree in advance. The more you stimulate your senses, the harder it will be to turn back. Trust me, do not flirt with temptation. Do not flirt with temptation just to see how far you can go. Trust me, you will mess around and find out. Okay? The next one, when temptation comes, run. Run. Okay? Don't walk, run. Whenever temptation rears its head, do not stick around and try to fight it. Why stick around and try to fight it? No, that is your cue to run. By taking time to linger and think about it, it's like you thinking about it at the moment, you open yourself up to making the wrong choice. You're making yourself very vulnerable at that moment. Okay, so you want to remove any source of temptation from your relationship, whether it's the movies that y'all are watching together or the people you hang out with. If you know it influences towards temptation, then remove it. Stay away from it. Avoid it. Okay? The next one, community support. You want to surround yourself with like-minded individuals who share similar values and providing encouragement and accountability. Plan your dates and activities around other people. That can help. Like if you plan your activities in group settings, that will help you, right? Okay, it doesn't mean that you can't have a long time with the person that you're dating and you don't have a long time to get to know each other and talk to each other. But most of the events can be in group settings. That's a good way for you to get to know people because you're not only seeing how he interact with you, you're seeing how he interact with other people. You're seeing how he interacts in your presence with you being around other people. Like it's so many things that you can learn from a person. That does not have to always be one-on-one time, okay? So just open yourself up to that. Like, for instance, if you're lounging on the couch, you snuggling up together alone in the room, that provides an opportunity for temptation. Like knowing you have a group of people there, it will eliminate some of that temptation, okay? We often keep things that we treasure under lock and key for safety. So treasure your purity. You have to treat your purity like a treasure because it is. So you want to guard that, right? The next one, alternative celebrations. Again, we know Valentine's Day is also lovey-dovey and sweet and it's romantic, but let's try to tone it down a little bit. Focus on celebrating in non-romantic ways. Like, it's some nice, sweet gestures that people can do, but it don't have to be so romantic and mushy to where you feel like you got to give it up. Like, it's rose petals in the bed. He got the bath water late. Like, we don't have to do all that because this is not leading to sex. So we want to make that very clear. Like, why am I having a bubble bath with rose petals with some wine on the side and then the heart of the rose petals on the bed? We don't want that. We're not doing that. We're going out somewhere. We're going on a nice little date in public or we're just going to avoid all that type of romantic thing. You can buy gifts, a nice kind gesture, but it don't have to be romantic and sexual in nature, okay? Because that stuff will enhance the mood and it's going to be very, very hard for you to say no in that situation, okay? Because again, your feelings and your emotions are going to take over. You're feeling all tingly inside. You feeling like, oh, he may be the one, even though he might not be. But days like that, Valentine's days and things like that it will open up that door to make you really feel a little bit frisky. Okay? So you want to focus on celebrating non-romantic ways and avoid Netflix and chill when we're doing this. So even if they don't do the rose petals and all of that, don't be Netflixing and chilling and all coated up on the couch because that's not going to help either. Avoid that. Like, no sleepovers. No sleepovers. If y'all are going to be watching movies and stuff, have appropriate distance between y'all. Have some appropriate distance. Watch the movies. If you see a sex scene, turn away like a kid. Just like you block the child face from seeing a sex scene, do that to yourself. Turn like it's icky, it's yucky, like childish. Yes, that's how you want to act in those moments, because trust me, that's the only way that's going to stop you from doing something that you don't want to. Well, you want to do it, but you don't need to do it. So again, preventative methods. Okay, the next one, you must understand the cost. There's always a cost. There is a price to be paid. Okay, participating in sexual intimacy outside of marriage carries a huge cost. Not only are you opening up a door again to those demonic influences, but also the potential for life-changing circumstances like sexually transmitted diseases, pregnancy, things that can come in and disrupt your life for really no reason. It can be avoided, right? Sex forms an intense bond physically, emotionally, and mentally, okay? Strong. That's that stronghold. It creates very strong bonds, okay? And when you create that deep bond with someone other than your spouse, you set yourself up for brokenness, for heartache, and for pain. It's like you did it to yourself, okay? What a gift purity brings to marriage. It's like you bring that purity to a new marriage. Is beautiful, right? Without the fear of shame or having so many previous encounters. You've had that period of purity. Even if you wasn't a virgin your whole life, it doesn't matter. But that period of aloneness, that period of going without, and then going into a new marriage as a pure person, a sexually pure person, that's beautiful, okay? That's beautiful. So that's what we're working towards, right? The last one, prayer and reflection, okay? Strengthen your spiritual foundation through prayer and reflection, seeking guidance and strength from God, right? That's what you want to do through your faith, through Christ. Pray about it. Talk to God about it. He will help you through it. Trust me. trust me, he will help you through it. So as we approach things like Valentine's Day, and this applies to any day, but I'm talking specifically for Valentine's Day because Valentine's Day is right around the corner. So as we approach Valentine's Day, let's remember that staying sexually pure is a personal commitment guided by our faith in Christ, right? If you have not made that commitment and you're not a person who's like, I'm sexually pure, I think it's the best decision you could make. But that's me saying that you have to get to a place to where you make that decision for yourself. Seek God and he will reveal to you when and how, where you're supposed to do it. He will reveal it all to you. Have that relationship with God and that communication with God, and then y'all could talk about it that way. That's the best foundation for it, because that's what's going to sustain you. Because now you're not just accountable to yourself. You know you had sex, but now you're accountable to God. He knows what you did too, and you know now that it's a sin and you're not supposed to be doing it. So you're going to get convicted and you're going to feel like, oh man. So even if you do slip up and you have that sex, you're going to feel bad about it. You're going to be like, man, God, I'm sorry. I should have never done that. And that's how it's supposed to be. Versus now, if you're not accountable to God, you just having sex when you want to. And it's like, there's no consequences. There's no accountability. There's no end goal. Like, there's no goal. So as we walk with Christ, our goal is to become more like Jesus, to eliminate sin from our life. It may be a slow process, but it doesn't matter as long as you are fighting that fight. You're fighting that fight against the flesh and you're moving towards righteousness. That's the important part. There is room for repentance. There is room for you to start over. But after you get to a point where you are constantly making the same mistakes over and over, it's like now you're making bad decisions that mean you're not really trying to walk that walk. So it's about the intentionality of actually trying. It's about the intentionality and also your heart posture. Like, do you feel sad when you mess up and you disappoint God? Do you feel convicted when you're not living out this standard of living that you know you should be, and that you're not eliminating sin from your life? Again, this is a choice you will have to make for yourself. I have decided the celibacy journey for me. If you feel like you want to do that as well, then seek God and he will reveal. Celibacy is a beautiful thing. Sex and marriage is the way that God intended for it to be. So that's what we're doing over here. And, the Christ followers, this is what we're doing. Okay. So by following these tips and leaning on your spiritual community, you can navigate this holiday as well as life with grace and integrity. So let me know in the comments how you are spending Valentine's Day. Let me know in the comments any tips that you have on staying pure in this season, or just even if you made the decision to start a new purity journey. Let's talk about it in the comments. All right, y'all, that's it for today's video. I will see y'all next time. Don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. All right, see y'all later. Bye.